Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great day today, and I hope you had a great trading session. This is the daily trading update video for the the February 6th session. If you missed that live stream, I will link that up in the iCards. Before we get started, I know you see the green at the bottom of your screen. Yes, I finally, after 2 straight weeks of red days, I have had a profitable day. I have not had a profitable day since January 22nd. Go onto my channel. You will see all red arrows on all of the daily trading updates. So I'm so happy. There was one little change that I decided to make coming into this session. I'll talk about that in just a second. But you can see that I had a gross profit of $270. When you subtract the $59 in commissions, you get a net profit of $210. I took 15 trades today. 4 of them won, 2 lost. Then there were 9 break evens. There was 1 loss in there that was actually an invalid trade, and I'll talk about why that was invalid. And it's just the same pattern that I sometimes just forget about. And then I had 14 trades that I either missed or did not take. Really, only one of them was a miss. I'll talk about how and why I missed that. And then the other 13 I just did not take, and it was because of that change that I decided to make. So let's go ahead and get into the charts. My apologies if you hear my nephew in the background. I locked him out so I can record this video. So the decision that I made last night, don't know why I thought about this, but I was like, all right, I think I want to take my middle level off of my charts. When you guys watch me stream, you'll hear me sometimes talk about how like, oh, my levels are out of order. Oh, I'll talk about my minor level, my middle level, and my major level. I don't know. I guess what made me decide to put a middle level on my chart to begin with is because there were times where I would see a pullback happen that went past my minor level, but it didn't quite get to the major level. So I decided to put a level like halfway in between for a middle level. For whatever reason last night, I was just like, I think that that's causing me to be too restrictive. And sometimes, like when you're developing a strategy, you kind of start off really loose with very little rules. And then as you continue to have chart time, you start to notice certain patterns and you create more rules. Sometimes you take things off of your chart or add things onto your chart, and that might subtract or add some rules. But eventually, sometimes you get to a point where you are way too restrictive, and you're so restrictive that you're keeping yourself out of too many wins that could cover some of your losses and break evens. And I believe that my middle level was doing that for me. Don't know why, but I think it was. So the first trade that I took, I closed it -5 ticks at a loss. I don't even really know why I did, because technically this was a valid setup. But as you can see, that would have lost. Like I said, I don't even really know why I got out of it. I don't know what I saw on the charts that made me do it, because when I looked at the screenshots of the trades in my trade journal, I was like, it really was no reason to get out. But I guess maybe I had a hunch, which I don't trade off of hunches. So I don't know, but that should have been a full loss. All right. So the second trade of the day was a win. As you can see, it was just a simple pullback. Now, my overall bias was a buy, which is why I got into that particular buy. But even if my bias is a buy, I still get into sales on the way down, because at some point, the trend direction is going to change. All right, so the next trade was a loss. It actually ended up coming 2 ticks away from moving my stop loss to break even. So it just was what it was. Again, it was just another divergence trade with going with the overall trend. So this was the first trade that I missed out on, really the only trade that I fully missed. And the only reason why is because it was starting to like lag a little bit, rhythmic. And when it was getting close to my stop loss, I could see that those orders like were probably not going to disappear right away. And they didn't. So because I had that feeling, I did not go ahead and enter going the opposite way, because that can cause a loop of order issues. And as you can see, this trade actually would have ended up winning. I don't think that the orders ended up completely disappearing from my chart until it was like way down here. And the loss was like up here. So yeah, I just ended up missing out on that one. All right, so the next trade here was just a continuation down, And so this one I actually ended up breaking even manually. And the reason why is because there was a what I call a sell rotation level that was sitting right here where this yellow line is. And so with my strategy, I do manually move my stop loss to break even anytime price hits the middle VWAP level, which is the white line, or anytime it hits my middle pivot level, which is always the yellow dots that's on my screen. And then there are certain support and resistance levels that I will break even at as well. However, after this particular trade, I kind of realized, like, wait a second. I think that because I'm in a sell, if I'm in a sell and it hits the sell rotation level or a resistance level, what I would deem as a resistance level, I don't have to break even because I'm in a sell. Now, if I'm in a buy and it gets to that level, then yes, I need to break even. So with that particular one, I broke even, but it would have been a full win. So this is the trade that was the one trade that was invalid that I did take. And the reason why is because price attempted to clear the low of this higher low right here. It didn't quite clear it. And then that price ended up going through the body of this entry bar right here. Had it gone through the wick, I would have been fine taking it. But because it went through the body, I actually should not have been in that trade. And that's a rule. That's the one rule that I continue to forget. Like if it doesn't completely clear it, or if it comes back and goes through the body of the entry candle, just don't take it with this particular setup. So the next trade, I manually broke even on a 1 bar pullback, and it's because there was a resistance level up here. So because I was getting into a buy and we hit a resistance level, I broke even. Good thing I did, because it would have been a full loss, even whether it wicked through right here with the outside bar, or it just would have been a full loss because it only went 15 ticks in profit, and my stop loss would move to break even at 20 ticks. All right, so now anytime you see a risk to reward tool there, it's just all the trades that I sat out of, which some of them I did sit out of on the stream. So that's the first one that I sat out of. That was that one was a full win. And for the majority of the trades that I sat out of, it was only because, like for this one in particular, this was a pullback to my major level. My minor level was somewhere down here. I'm so used to seeing my middle level there, and I know like if price reacts first off of my middle level and goes to the major level, a lot of times it'll lose. But I think there were certain reasons why it was losing, and I think that those reasons I don't have to worry about anymore. But the majority of the trades that I sat out of today, it was because I even though my middle level was not there, I know it's like somewhere near those other two levels. So yeah, so this was the next trade I sat out of. And the next one. So the first one, this one was a break even. That one was a full win. Here's the next trade that I actually did take. And I manually broke even on that one. Good thing I did, because this trade would have lost. As you can see here, it would have kind of stopped me out with a couple of extra ticks and then went straight into the direction. The only reason why I broke even on this one is because we were going back towards the new session low. Buyer pressure came in immediately after, so I went ahead and I broke even. All right, so next trade here. This trade I broke even on for the same reason. We were going back towards the new session low. Buyer pressure came in immediately. I went ahead and I broke even on that one. I actually just realized that I did not lose a trade on stream today. I didn't. Everything was a win or a break even. All right, so this particular trade here was a trade that I didn't take, but this one I would have went ahead and broke even on anyway. So yeah, that was that. All right, next trade here. This is a trade again I did not take. I would have manually broke even on that one. Let's see. This one was a 1 bar pullback that I called out on the stream, and I was like, I was supposed to be in that. And that one was a full win. So then we have the next trade that I did actually take. At this point, I'm almost certain that I was in an overall downtrend bias. However, again, I do still take buys going up, even in a downtrend. So we just had a simple pullback right after a 1 bar pullback, and that trade won. So Next trade here was a pullback for the change of structure. So we changed from the uptrend. This was like an uptrend here. We changed structure into the downtrend. So it was just the first pullback of that. Here is the next trade that I sat out of that I would have actually manually broke even. As soon as price got to the middle pivot level, which I talked about earlier, I would have went ahead and broke even there. So now we have after 10 o'clock. And for whatever reason, the last like week after 10 o'clock, you see how this is like really laggy when I'm moving the charts. This happens even while I'm trading live. I don't know what happens after 10 o'clock, but it happens for like 15 minutes. And then after that, it moves just fine. I don't know what it is about this 10 o'clock data. It happens every day. All right. So this is the next trade that I took. And I manually broke even on that one. This particular trade I actually should not have been in, and it was because we attempted to clear the high over here. We didn't clear it completely. Again, remember I said when the high or the low goes through the body of the reversal candle, it's likely going to lose. And I saw seller pressure come in immediately, so I went ahead and I broke even, and it's good that I did. Here's the next trade that I didn't get into, again, because I knew my middle level was somewhere in there, and I'm just so used to not taking trades going back towards it. But then we ended up getting into a divergent buy. Overall trend was a buy at the time, so it was just a larger pullback. Next trade that I missed out on or didn't take, and that one I actually would have broken even because we were going back to the VWAP and seller pressure came in. All right, so a couple more trades left. This particular trade was a full win. This trade was a break even. This one was a full win. And then we have this trade that I actually took that I broke even on. This trade I broke even on as well. All right, and then this particular trade This particular trade I did not get into, but that one would have been a full win. And then the last trade was a trade I actually did get into, and I went ahead and broke even on that particular trade. We were coming up on 11 o'clock news. Price was just looking real crazy, but I actually would have broken even no matter what because I would have closed this at 10:53. And right after 10:53, it would have came back below and then hit my break even no matter what. We were going back towards a double top. And that's that. So let's go ahead and get into the trail and drawdown. So as you guys can see, I have come back just a little bit. Yesterday, I actually ended with, let's see, I believe it was, I'll just pull it up so you guys can see since I didn't make the video. So you can see after yesterday, I only had $1,000 left in drawdown. But as of today, now I have $1,210.45 in drawdown left. So hopefully we can kind of continue with this positive movement and the profitable days, because my goal is, honestly, you guys, I really want to pass my first account by the end of this week. If not pass it, at least be pretty close, because I do have the 250Ks coming back on Monday. So it would be nice to have my first account pass, or at least be close. I'll feel a lot better going into the following week. So that's the daily trading update video for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for the stream starting at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good rest of your evening.